Good afternoon, everyone. It's Miss Wright with your art lesson for today. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at Sebastião Salgado, a really famous Brazilian photographer. Let's get started. So like I said, today we are going to do an artist study about Sebastião Salgado, okay? So he might be someone you've never heard of before, okay? So let's do a little bit of like a get to know session. He was born in 1944 on February the 8th. So, it's coming up now, isn't it? And he is a Brazilian photojournalist, which means that he takes photos to document what's going on in the world, basically, okay? He has travelled to over 120 countries for his photographic projects. Most of these have appeared in lots of magazines and books. Touring exhibitions of his work have been presented throughout the world. So that means that all of his pictures have been seen worldwide. They've gone to museums or to art galleries, things like that, and people have gone to see them, okay? So Salgado was the only son of a cattle rancher, so somebody who breeds cows. And his dad wanted him to become a lawyer. Instead, he studied economics, so maths, a bit like what Miss Eckert does, okay, Miss Eckert's favourite thing at university. And while he was working for the government, he became interested in showing the world and the different people within it through photography. So there are certain people within the world that aren't seen, aren't heard of, things like that. And he wanted to make sure that everybody was seen by everybody in the world, okay? So we've got a couple of his artworks coming through, his photographs, okay? And we are going to give them an appraisal. Now, this might not be something you've heard of before, but an appraisal is an opinion, okay? So what you think about a certain piece of art, okay? So this piece is called Antarctica, which is obviously what we've been looking at in our topic, cold lands. Now, we're going to do this first sort of appraisal together, and then I'm going to let you get on with the other pieces that I've listed for you in a couple of slides below, okay? And the first question is, how does it make you feel and why? Now, when I look at this piece, it makes me feel a little bit lonely because I can't really see anybody else in that picture. So it makes me feel quite lonely. And because the picture is in black and white, it also makes me feel quite cold, quite gloomy because I can't see any colour. I can't see any bright blue skies or anything like that. And it does make me feel a little bit sad. A bit like when we were looking at the Silly Billy story, and all the pictures at the beginning were in black and white to kind of show Billy's mood. I do think it's a very beautiful photograph though, and I can appreciate the beauty of this big sort of ice, or almost like an iceberg, isn't it? This really big iceberg here, okay? But I do also feel very calm looking at it because the sea, it's got little waves, hasn't it? But overall it does look very calm. Now, this second question says, how do you think this piece of artwork was created? So created is another word for made. How do you think the piece of artwork was made? And now, because I've done a little bit of research on Salgado, I know that he was a famous photographer. So I know this picture was taken using a camera. Now, it might have been a black and white camera, or it might have been edited into black and white. And this might be something you've used at home on your phones or on your tablets, things like that. You might have taken a photo in black and white before. Now, this one says, what would you call this piece of artwork? So if you were to give it another name, because obviously at the moment it's called Antarctica, if you were to give it another name, what would you call it? Now, that's quite a tricky one. I think I would call it something like iceberg in the clouds, because you can see all these really big fluffy clouds, but they look quite angry, don't they? They look quite cross. So I think I'd say iceberg in the angry clouds or something like that. But that's completely up to you. You can call it whatever you like. And like I said, I've also given you a couple more of Salgado's work to have a look at. So we've got this one here called Antarctica. We've got this one here, which is called The Salt of the Earth. And this has got a woman in a very big warm coat, a bit like when we were looking at the Inuits a couple of weeks ago. And then we've also got this one about rockhopper penguins. Can you see them all coming down the slope here? So there's a couple for you to be getting on with. And then once you've done that, come back to me and we'll do the next part. Okay, now that you've done that, we're going to get on to making a bit of a fact file about Salgado, just to bring all of those new pieces of information and put them in the same place, okay? So you might want to use the internet to help you out, but you can also use the slide at the very top of this lesson to help you fill in some of the boxes. So what I've also done, I'll show you in a second, is I've left you a space to create your own piece of Salgado work, but you might want to have a go at drawing or painting, or you could even take some photos around your house or outside in black and white to kind of represent some of Salgado's work. So what I've got for you is full name, date of birth, so when he was born, where he was born, what he was famous for, and then a little bit just about his life. And here's that box that I've left for you. But like I said, you could just take some photos on a tablet or on a camera, or you could use a bigger sheet of paper to do your own black and white sort of art piece, okay? What I've also done is I've given you a link just down the bottom here, which gives you a bit more of a gallery of all of his different pieces of artwork. As always, we cannot wait to see all of your beautiful artwork on the portfolio section of Class Dojo. We'll see you later. Bye.